Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Looks good. Sounds good. On time. I mean, you don't have lead singer's disease, I guess.
I appreciate that. It's so funny. I've heard this is like the second time I've heard that this week. I'm like, musicians are really messing up these days, man.
I think that all started when Sammy Hagar got fired from Van Halen. They said he had LSD, lead singer's disease, and everyone started using it after that, but not you.
Nah, I like to. I was looking forward to this.
Well, likewise. I really liked the first single that you put out from the album. How long has the album been done?
It's been done actually. I would say about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. It took a minute to mix it. I work with my good friend Eric Hogemeyer on that process, and it was, I think, crucial to how it came out. You know what I mean?
And then when in that process did the music video get done? Because that's you guys being close together in a park in New York City. And New York City looks a lot happier in that music video than a lot of people think it looks.
Well, the funny thing, we shot that literally a year ago, essentially, to when it was released. So last January, right before everything went crazy in January. So we really struck gold. I mean, I didn't realize we'd be wearing masks the next year. I didn't, and we really, yeah, the timing was perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you know that Round Hill, is it Black Hill's the label and it's a sub or imprint of Round Hill?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you know all along, hey, Round Hill's the label, or did you shop it around?
We had been working together. They had put out the London Souls album, Here Come the Girls.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so they were interested in this project as well. So it kind of worked out. And they're great. Yeah, it's been really great working with their team. Like they're amazing.
Yeah, some people will say, I'm not going to put my album out until it has the right home or label. And other people say, well, I'll put it out through that label and then we're going to tour it 2 to 3 years. Doesn't matter what label it's on. So it's great that you have a home in a way. Your management, I assume, is not under the Round Hill umbrella?
No, yeah, great management. This go around. Still working with my brother Sean, working with Riley, Brutus, and yeah, Fall Forward Management.
Now, how did the Dan Auerbach connection happen?
Well, I mean, that's kind of, we had gone through talking about working with different producers when we
Yeah.
were, you know, looking at recording new songs. And this is when, one could go to a studio at the time. But yeah, I think Roundhill really hooked that up. And then we just ended up in the studio. And it was great to work with him. He was really a brilliant cat. And it was at his studio, which sounded beautiful. All the instruments were already set up and ready to go. Sometimes you have to find the sound in the studio, and his studio, very responsive and easy to work in.
I'm sure you're not allowed to say the name Jack White in front of Dan and all that, but he reminds me of Jack White in the sense that he's always producing like 5 albums at the same time, almost like a Rick Rubin, where you go, how does the guy have the time to do all this? Was he actually in the studio with you, or was it mixes were being sent back and forth?
No, he was there. We it was beautiful because we got to work together, and he was really cool. Our friend Bobby Emmett, great keyboardist, was on there as well. And yeah, I mean, he was there the whole time. I mean, there wasn't a time that he wasn't involved when he was producing, which was really great. We really wanted his input.
Got it. So the album being done for basically a year and a half, at this point, do you just have songs pouring out of your ears, like another 30 are ready to go?
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's kind of the great thing about being able to release this is that with my band, we are so ready to play not only this album live, but the new stuff that we've been working on the last, couple of years. So it's an exciting time. I can't wait to get back in the studio to make some more fire records.
Yeah. You'd never know, though, with people talking about how much they've written or haven't written lately. One person I interviewed recently who's had a lot of hits, I said, so your new album is out in May and it's been done for a year and a half. So you have like 30, 40 songs ready, and goes, I've written 1.5 songs in the last 2 years. And it seems to me everyone either is the most prolific and productive they've ever been, or they just have no inspiration and yeah, it sucks.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be upfront. There were weeks, especially this year, where I just, would lie on the floor and be like, I don't really feel like, writing. I feel
Yeah.
depleted. I mean, there were a few weeks just being aware of what was going on around the world in this country. So at those times, no, I think it's important to focus on yourself and focus on your own spirit.
Yeah.
But to your point, I mean, sometimes you've got stuff in the back catalog you want to finish. You had some ideas, maybe you've got some demos, and then now you've got the time to kind of polish those off, and that might lead into writing new stuff. Like I got into a great flow over the summer, right? Like getting the groove of the quarantine and getting the groove of knowing we're going to be in isolation for a while, kind of find a creative sweet spot, which was awesome. So it was nice to be able to create, but I'm not one of those people that I don't think there's any value. I could go, okay, I'll do G, D,
Yeah.
C chords and
1,
go,
4,
stop,
5.
and be like, I went to the store today, and then I
Yeah.
bought a glass of milk. Like I don't think that's helpful or expressive. You know what I mean?
Well, credit beyond the music goes to you. Talking to you these last few minutes, I would have no idea that you were in a life-threatening accident and had to go through a recovery. It doesn't, your music doesn't sound like somebody who's on death's door. You don't look like it and all that. I'd imagine that was just kind of the turning point in life, and that in a way made creating easier.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta give credit to my family. My brother Chris St. Hilaire from the London Souls, Stu Mahan, who's in London Souls at that time, played bass as well, and just a lot of people. I was in this car accident. I got hit by drag racers. I ended up in a coma, and my severe brain damage. And in that coma, they said, to my family, like, he's probably not going to make it. And if he
Right.
does make it, he's not going to be able to walk for a year. He's not going to be able to talk. You're going to have to take care of him the rest of his life in that way. But after that week of the coma, a week after that, like about 2 days, and I hadn't walked yet because, if you're in a coma and you don't walk for like a week, you lose your equilibrium, you lose all your balance.
Sure.
So I'm in the bed, and my father was still alive at this time. He passed away literally within the following year. So it was a rough 12 months. So, and that's what this album is about. I got to kind of get the songs out about that experience, about the life and death relationship, and also, watching my father die a little bit. So, and to that point, I'm in the bed, I haven't walked. I see a guitar, he had it there. And I, motioned for it. And I played G, A, and D. And I was like, okay.
You got the cowboy chords, you're good.
Well, it was just like it's like home, you play it like lower in the neck, and you feel, it's like, okay. And it was odd I'll say it was kind of like discovering a piece of myself in that moment that it re-engaged. And then when I got the electric, my hands on my Gibson at home, and I was remembering my own songs, and mind you, my brain was crushed. This is a normal brain. My brain was like this in the X-ray. Yeah. So I was even like, do I even know what I wrote? And thankfully, I did. I could remember lyrics and all the chord structures and how to play. And being on the road, I think it did spark new fire because one of the gigs we played, I was in a place, I think in South Carolina, and my brain surgeon that worked on me in New York showed up to that gig because he had got promoted and moved down there. And he asked me after the show, he goes, so how you doing that? I was like, yeah, you're the doctor, my friend.
Yeah.
But I'm blessed that I didn't go backwards in playing in music and was able to evolve and kind of use that to express myself musically. And the result is this album,
Yeah. Well, one of the most nausea-inducing questions you could ever ask a creative person like yourself is, so where do your ideas come from? But what I'm curious is, do all the songs come to you when you have a guitar in your hand and you're saying, I'm going to write right now? Or is it the kind of thing where you're just walking down the street, melody randomly appears in your head and you go, I got to write this down, there's the song?
That's actually, I think that's actually a cool question, because artists that I admire have different ways of going about that. There's a song on this album called Catching Up that I actually wrote walking, and I came up with the bass line and the beat of it. Just, I said, this has got to be what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, then the next thing that I did, I mean, the majority of the songs, I've got the guitar, like for something ain't right. One of the first singles on this album, I'm watching the news and I'm watching, uh, Philando Castillo get murdered by the cops. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, that's going to come out. Or if I'm at the house and I'm trying to process my father passing away and I've got a guitar in one of the rooms, and that's going to come out. So ideas come from life, for me, from experience. I'm never trying to do anything that is, I don't want to say vapid, but not, really connected to me, not tangibly connected to me.
The exact opposite thing that I've heard is a friend of a friend knew Ben Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie when he was writing that Postal Service album. And he was, just looking at him going like, what are you doing? Because all day long he had the guitar and he was in front of the computer. And he was learning how Ben Gibbard was treating songwriting like a 9 to 5, like he clocks in, writes all day and all that. And I've heard some people say that that is the worst thing ever, because you should be able to feel it in 1 or 2 takes, and if not, throw it out. And then I've heard other people talk about the methodical approach. So when you are writing an album, is it kind of the byproduct of months, or do you sit down and go, I'm going to write an album now?
I look at it like, when an album is released, you can kind of, for me, visualize what the next collection is going to be. So whether that's literally a song you wrote yesterday that feels connected to it, or a song you got that you just finished from years ago, that it's the right time. Every song, I think, has its time in the sun that it's supposed to shine. And some songs aren't meant to be recorded when they're written, Like I have songs that I wrote so long ago that I know that I'm going to record, and now I have the vision to do it. But I did actually see that some footage of Ben Gibbard going to his studio and writing every day, and I really respect that. I think that's very fruitful. I think he's very talented. I would never despair, because I respect his work, so there's something to it. And also, you look at how many takes the Beatles had when they were recording.
Right.
Some are 90th takes, and then some are first or second. So even in that sense, they can feel when the record's right. So time and music is an interesting thing.
Yeah, there is no one right answer. I think that's one thing everyone's got to agree on. So couple more questions and then you are a free man. And the first one, and you could say, next question, I hate this, stop it, Darren. And
I love questions.
First question, London Souls, is it dead, or is it something that might happen again in 5 or 10 years if you feel it?
For me and Chris, we've been on the road for a long time, but we still talk very often. You know what I mean? So we're brothers. You know what I mean? He was with me in the hospital. We've known each other since we were like teenagers. So as long as we're still alive, and we have music that people haven't heard that we'll probably, put out, which we're both excited about. So no, I would never say the London Souls are dead. No.
You never know. I mean, the Kinks are now in their 80s and they still won't play together.
Oh no, see that we don't have, because we're not actually brothers from the same mother or father. So, but we are spiritual and musical brothers for life. You know what I mean? The way we grew together as songwriters and musicians is, you can't compare that to anything. You know what I mean?
Next question. What's your next thing that's booked or scheduled? Do you know?
In like a physical,
live streams, anything?
Physical capacity, like me leaving the house?
Yeah, I mean, some people are going, well, I'm going to do a week of gigs in Florida and Texas. Okay. And then other people go, oh, no gigs until fall 2022. You never know.
No, I do miss, obviously performing. Like I've done streams. I do streams on my official Facebook page, just for fun every Wednesday, called the Quick Quarantine Concert. Okay, it's 3 Qs.
3 Qs.
Trademark.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been fun for me because I challenge myself. I get to do things on my own, but you can't see people. There's no real clapping, except for my love who's with me, and she'll clap, and that's keeps me, going.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate enough to be able to do some work this year and fly out to Wyoming to work on some stuff and LA and continue to do music, obviously wearing masks and being careful.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do something with the band in March at the Jazz Standard, which I'm very excited about.
Great venue. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
Unrelated to everything we've talked about, do you have a TV show that you could recommend for someone who needs a new series to get wrapped up into?
I do.
Is it 90 Day Fiance?
No. I mean, it should be, but me and my gal, we on the daily almost, we came across the show. Her father actually recommended it to us, and it's called Air Disasters. Okay, it also goes by Mayday. It's on the Smithsonian Channel, but it's essentially about, and this, it's a little macabre. Okay. But it's relaxing when you get into the groove of it, and it's very methodical. They essentially explain how all these plane crashes specifically happen, but there's like incredible reenactments with these actors. Like, it's very funny, low key. And as a survivor, of a almost deadly car crash, it's like sort of backwards, but we love it.
Cool. And my closer, any last words for the kids?
Any last words for the kids?
Yeah, because sometimes people say, check out my website. And other people actually have advice to impart. And hey, you're a thoughtful guy. Maybe you've got some advice about what should or shouldn't be done.
I'd say, listen, I don't want to be, what do you call it? I guess everybody says this, but listen to your heart, never give up, and stay focused. And check out my Instagram at Tash_Neal.
And the 3 Qs of Wednesdays.
3 Qs. That's right. 7:30 Eastern time.
There you
Quick
go.
Concert.
Looking forward to seeing you live in New York again when things get normal. But thank you so much for your time, and keep up the great work there.
Thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks. Take care.
Paltrocast.